it was a learning experience.
It
now
seems
I know.
like something the devil invented, I think.
Yeah, Da Vinci for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Molly, Vivent, is that correct? Did I pronounce that right? Or
I say
Vivent?
I've said so many different things, but I think in comedy everyone just says Vivent, so I've
Vivent?
stuck with that.
Okay,
Vivent.
Vivent.
Kind of like Vivance.
Vivance. I like giving it the
It's Vivant.
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 I have a silent T in my actual last name. It's a Rossico, and it's oftentimes pronounced. How would you pronounce this? Racicot.
Rossico.
You shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it first. Damn it. But thank you so much for being here today. I wanted to have a little chat with you about music. You're one of the comedians that I've met in the Austin area since I've moved here that I've had a lot of really cool conversations with. We talked about the Speed Show that, Lemaire and I talked about it on the last one, but I think you were the one that actually hipped us all to that was happening and everything like that. So
yeah, my friends that I grew up with were playing that show day by day. Florida band.
Very good. Yeah, we were just talking about Florida. Yeah.
And wasn't Mugger on it too?
I believe so.
Say.
Yeah.
Those are my friends from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think it was a really cool show to be at, I guess. But in general, like it was cool to know, like, oh shit, there's somebody here that's going to help us, because that's the thing about moving to a new place is learning the new mics, learning the who's cool, who's not cool, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then just somebody that's like, hey, by the way,
there's dope shit outside of comedy. You should come.
Yeah, yeah. There's shit other than comedy here in Austin. So like, it was cool that you actually kind of pulled us all out, and like, it was a really fun trip, and it was really cool that we had that. But it was also cool to find out you like cool music.
Yeah, that's true. I do, but I also like uncool music.
Look at this, a segue queen over here. Yeah, because I asked
Probably
you.
more than I like cool music is that I like uncool music.
I'm trying not to take it too personally, but every time I send somebody that list, they're like, how about this? And it's like, I hope I inspired that. But you.
No, you did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, 100%.
Each
but
one
I was
of
just
them,
like,
yeah.
here's an idea that is like very me, and I feel very comfortable talking about it.
It was bands or artists that are inherently embarrassing to be a fan of.
Yes.
And we were just talking to my lovely wife about Florida and some other things out there. And I think it's funny because she has one. I thought of one for her first, but I was thinking, would Brand New be one of those?
Oh my God, that was literally the first thing I thought of.
Perfect.
Actually, for me.
She's gonna be biting her lip out.
Because no, I'm the biggest Brand New fan.
She
but
loves Brand New.
I
yeah.
love them so much, and they're coming back.
They are coming
They're
back.
coming back with a
look at this.
vengeance.
We ended up talking about a current event even. Look at that. So Molly, so you obviously, I think it's pretty well known of why they would be somebody that you might be a little embarrassed to.
Oh, I'm not embarrassed of the allegations.
No allegations. Okay, so it's just so you're like an old school fan.
No, I'm an old school fan and
a new school fan.
Yes, but I also it's just like I'm embarrassed because of the fans.
Okay.
The Brand New fandom. Anytime I've been to a Brand New show, like I'm so happy and like inspired, and I'm crying because I love Jesse Lacey and I love the music, and like he's one of the best lyricists ever, I think. But it's also more of I'm surrounded by people that I find repulsive.
I'm
upset. Like I'm actively like, oh, I hate every person in this room. I'm going to try to focus in on what's happening, because if not, I won't enjoy myself.
So it's not even a matter of you being like, I like them first. It was you just going like, you people discuss. I would feel that way if I felt that way about Juggalos and Tool fans. But it kept me from being fans of those bands. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, that does make sense.
It's
but
like
I actually feel like I love Juggalo fandoms. I'm not even like into that kind of music. I can.
I've turned around.
And it's fun.
I've woken up. I've opened my eyes and painted my face.
Listen, I love counterculture.
I'm reborn as a Juggalo.
I love any kind of counterculture. Like, really, that is cool. Specifically, Juggalos are cool because they are really the most accepting humans, I think.
It is. It's
really
what punk says it is.
Yeah.
You know how punk is like, this is for all the outcasts and the.
Yeah,
and
but
like,
it's also
not you.
But they're also like, but hey, be cool about it. Don't be cringe about it.
Don't be a douche.
And there is like a in Juggalo culture, it's like we don't give a fuck. Let's be cringe and just really enjoy the thing that we love.
It's like it's almost like a what do they call it when a state secedes and becomes its own country? They really are their own country of fandom because they don't rely on anybody. Like there's nothing that they have. I mean, like I'm saying,
it's truly on some DIY shit.
It really is,
even though it is like huge, like it is a big thing.
The band that first came to mind for me was my favorite band. I would say up until like a couple years ago, No Effects.
Okay, yeah.
So I am.
But why is that embarrassing?
I don't know. I've always, because they have been my favorite band this whole time, and I know a lot of people's like, they're not. I would always.
It's not a deep cut. Is that why it's embarrassing?
Not that it's not a deep cut, but it's the fact that like I would always preface it by saying they're not. I don't think that they're the best band in the world.
Yeah,
they're my favorite band. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I feel that way about Brand New too, probably.
But they're actually,
they are amazing. But like, I would understand other people not being into it. But I have a very special connection to it.
To Brand New.
To Brand New, yeah.
So what would you say your special connection would be to that?
It was like the right type of depression that I had. You know what I mean? At the right age, that I was like, oh my God, like this is the most beautiful way to say you want to kill yourself. Okay. And it's like the most articulate way that I could even understand it at that age or whatever. I actually got into Brand New. I mean, I'm younger. I'm 28. So they were kind of popping before I was probably a teenager to be into it. But I remember my sister's 8 years older than me. And one time her best friend, when I was like in like 3rd grade, showed me Brand New. Yeah. Like in her headphones in the backseat of a car.
Wait, in 3rd grade you said?
Yeah, I must have been in like 3rd or 4th grade. Like I was really young.
Wow. Was it relatable then?
Oh yeah. Famously, there is, I still have my 1st grade journal and I post it on Instagram, sometimes the specific page in it where in my baby 6-year-old handwriting or 7-year-old handwriting is sometimes I feel like killing myself with a broken heart.
Oh my God.
And I think it's hilarious. But like, if I ever show it to like a partner, whoever I'm dating, they're like, that's so sad. I want to cry. I'm like, because it's in baby handwriting. But it's like,
it's like in crayon.
No, I wanted to kill myself as long as I've been alive. Like it's just always been relatable to me.
Yeah. You're like, I want to commit suicide.
Yeah. Suicide.
Suicide. I'm going to hang myself with a rope.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's okay. So that's a really, I would say, so early on, speaking of, let's say early childhood traumas, one of the first influential musics that I listened to, and I think also fits this category, was I loved the Crow soundtrack.
I don't know it.
Not a lot of people do. People know the movie The Crow. They know about Brandon Lee. They know about all that. That's a sad enough story, but it's connected to also my dad had committed suicide. And then I was like, oh, that was around the same time The Crow was coming out. I'm dating myself. I'm 10 years older than you. But there's a scene where he jumps off the building to kill himself. And that's what I was like, oh, that's what my dad did. But I also, before that, loved martial arts. So like that connection of that thing
those
I loved
things together,
and just being like, oh, that's cool. But
you're like, it's like an homage.
Yeah, exactly. But then I was like, it really kind of led me into going like, this is my identity for a little bit. Brandon Lee is just like my dad.
This is who I am.
Yeah. So like I had that early on and I was 8 or 9. So, like, it's still not, like, that's 3rd grade, you know?
Yeah.
Not the worst. I'm not trying to, you know.
No. I think
but it's not as deep as Brand New.
I think it can be deep, however it is to, you know what I mean? Everything means something to someone. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I was truly getting out of Brand New at that age.
Yeah.
But I knew that I connected to it. And then probably as I got older, it was even more of like, oh my God, I thought I connected to it. And then now I really connect to it now, you know?
Yeah.
It's like rewatching Gilmore Girls. Like I've been rewatching Gilmore Girls since I've been like, it came out when I was like 5 and I remember watching it on the TV when I was a kid. And my dad, piece of shit, constantly, if he heard me watching it, he would be like, he hates a woman speaking. He'd be like, this bimbo never shuts the fuck up. That's what he would say about Lorelai always. Like
the Brand New thing. That's the journal entry is starting to make more sense now.
Yeah. But he hated when she spoke, and I loved it. I remember being like, oh my God, I love that a woman is speaking this much. And then I loved it as a kid, and then I kept watching it every year or every couple of years. I'd watch it more, and it made more sense to me that I connected to it even more. It starts to mean something different.
I've had that
as
before.
time goes on, I feel.
I've had that more with, like, I guess not necessarily. Sometimes the subject matter, like realizing that a lot of the people in like Seinfeld now are like younger than I am now. Like, so now when I watch those, or like Friends or any of those things where I'm like, I not only getting the jokes, but like some of the subject matter and some of like the
or like references that you don't
any of that shit. Yeah, you're like, you actually do get more out of those things, and like a band for sure is going to be that thing. I was never, so I talk about this a lot. I'm never like huge into like reading the lyric book a lot of times, but like the music, the feeling always connected. Like I would connect with certain ones. Were you like reading that stuff and kind of like, do you go back and like read the lyrics now and like get another whole level out of it? Are you still getting stuff out of some of the older lyrics or anything like that? Because it's kind of, it's more, I don't want to say pop punk, but it's more poppy sounding than like.
I mean, the first brand new album is straight up the best pop punk that exists, in my opinion. I don't think there's a better pop
punk. Don't worry, you're not gonna offend me. It's
right. No. I'm not really. I feel like that's when pop punk was cool, and I don't know if it will ever be like that. Like I just.
Yeah.
And that is a perfect pop punk record, I think. But yeah, I think that I've always been like, I focus on lyrics. I know, like my ex will tell you, like anyone will tell you in my life, like Molly has music autism. Like I know the words to every song that's ever existed. Like to the point where like it's a song no one in the room knows, and they're like, how the fuck do you know the words to this song? Like how could you possibly? I don't know. I've always focused on that. I don't even really do it on purpose. It just gets stuck in my head, and I like writing. I like words. It makes sense, but.
Yeah, I mean, it has that effect. Yeah, it'll have that impression on you or something like that. Get out. Go.
Yeah, but I think over time, definitely, like I think also when I was younger, some of the writing in brand new songs, like I'd be like trying to understand what it meant. Like I understood the feeling of what it was conveying, but I'm like, because he's such a writer and it's kind of cryptic in some ways that you're like, what does it? I remember being a kid and being like, trying to understand the song Jesus Christ, being like, what is this really about? You know what I mean? Because it's not so blatant. Like, it's not like, this is how I feel. Like, you know, where I feel like most kids relate to that kind of music or whatever. But
and more like, again, like more you're straightforward. Like, this is like
this is the message. And also I grew up in hardcore. Hardcore is most of the time, like, I mean, there's some like metaphors in that music and stuff, but it's pretty like, this is how I feel.
It's really thinly veiled. It's like, this is for all, like any call out, they're going to get, like, if you didn't understand what the lyrics were yet, during the call out, they're going to be like, this one's for all those people out. And you're like, oh, okay. I didn't know this was about the soldiers. This is a troop.
Sometimes
it's about the troops.
The call outs before songs actually get me. They make me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
I was working at like a punk venue the last couple years here in Austin. And there was this one like heavier band that was playing, and they like they started before the song. They were like, "This one goes out to everyone who's ever thought about killing themselves." and I couldn't stop laughing because I'm like, God, I wish I could do that before a joke.
Yeah.
Like I wish.
You should start doing call outs. Start doing a call out before. This one goes out to anybody that ever got stuck in traffic and you were really pissed off. No, I think there was one that I saw that was really funny. We just watched I was doing Taylor's podcast, Taylor Gorman, and he was like, there was one that it was a call out. It was, It was, I think it was a Christian band. Because that was the thing, like I always, like growing up, the things that I was going to be embarrassed by, like if I found out people knew I liked Christian metal, but then
Christian
you find out
metalcore was everything.
They were every band.
They were like a moment. Like
it was like everything.
Everyone was into it at the time. Like,
I'm seeing if I can find the call out. I thought we looked at it on YouTube, but probably not. Okay, but we were saying it was basically saying you won't let like this one goes out to like you can't let pornography ruin your or rule your life or something like that, and you're just like, Christ Lord or something like that, and you're like, all right, okay, we get it.
Low key, it's ruined my life, so I kind of get that call out.
Hey, but there's a situation with bands like that I listen to, even with like NoFX and stuff like that, with like Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, that they would do covers of songs, or even NoFX do covers of songs where it's an old folk song from like the 70s or something that'll be playing in a thrift store, and I'm singing every word. And I'm just
you're
like,
how do I know this?
what the
You're
fuck is
wait.
going on? And like, oh, and it's just a little slowed down version of that Me First in the Gimme Gimme song that I knew. But I like that. I like soundtrack shit. I like.
I love soundtracks. I used to go to sleep to the Her soundtrack like every night
Really?
for like probably 2 years.
It's like a mixtape. It's like it's a cool like mix of things. I like a lot of like it'll be maybe you don't like the movie necessarily as much, but like the soundtrack to it is something that you connect more to.
What's a soundtrack? I love the Into the Wild one that Eddie Vedder made. I love that soundtrack. It's really really good.
Did he like actually do all the songs, or did he just like put it together?
No, he did all the songs.
That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
for
Yeah.
it, because I think that was his idea to even. I could be so wrong, fact check me, but I think he was fascinated with the story, which I think the story's bullshit. I actually hate that movie.
Really?
It's like transcendentalism. It's like about a rich privileged kid that's like,
I'm
gonna go live in the woods and
yeah.
like give away all my money to whatever and like leave my abused sister at home and not tell her I'm I'm like, I don't maybe a lot of straight white men that have money and come from similar circumstances can like romanticize the idea of being like, I don't care about my privilege and I want to go live in the woods, and like that's cool, do you? But I don't think it's cool.
No, it's not cool.
I think it's
just
selfish. I think it's really selfish, and also like I don't know. I'm like, join the Peace Corps.
Yeah,
like
so
do something good for other people. Like,
right.
But like I love Eddie Vedder and I love that music that he made for that movie.
Yeah, I think it's a cool way for like somebody to at least go like, because I don't know what the connection would be to that, like because maybe Eddie Vedder had some kind of connection to it, or maybe he was just like.
I think all white men feel a calling to go to the woods.
I did really want to live out of a van for a long, like before it was an Instagram thing.
It's like the way I'm trying to think of like what a girl thing. It's like a man's eat, pray, love.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, that's a great, yeah.
But like, and it's also self-righteous in a way. Like that's why I just don't like it. I'm just like, you could also just do things for other people. If you don't care about your life, why don't you just serve other people? I don't know.
It's a really easy identity to gain. You know what I mean? Like it's really like in that sense, especially with money. Like the whole point of it is that you're just getting by with what you can.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, well, I'm gonna like buy a van and do like and convert it, and because that's unfortunately that's how I know I'm not meant for that, because I don't want to do it. Like I was thinking like, all right, if we're saving up for a house, we could just have a bunch of money then and just buy a van and pimp it out and fucking like go out and like live in that, or an RV or something. And I was like, but I want functioning bathroom, shower. I need to know how to maintain it. And it's like, for me to get, it's almost the same way I feel about a lot of international travel. I don't want to go on an international vacation I can afford.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Literally
like,
same.
It's essentially
Please
like,
someone take me somewhere.
oh yeah, cool, Canada. Oh, neat. You know what I mean? I can go to the places we can drive, and I don't know if I have enough money to survive in those places.
Yeah, my brother the other day told me, he's like, hey, we should go to Thailand. I really want to go to Thailand. He goes, my rich little brother, he said, if you pay for your flight, I'll pay for everything there. I said, can we just switch that? Like the expensive part is the flight.
Yeah.
We're going to Thailand. I'm pretty sure everything costs 1 cent. Like, you know what I mean? Like I could cover that.
Yeah. I think it's a matter of like a Groupon vacation or something like that. When I start looking at those, even if I've heard somebody that I know that's like, I had a pretty good time doing that, I don't know about that. And that's like, I do the same thing with like media too. Like the same thing. People that I trust can tell me like there's a movie that I would like, or there's a movie that they liked, or a band or something like they like. But it's always about the personal connection. It's always so like there's no matter, like I can't explain why I had such a connection to NoFX or to any of the bands or albums or anything like that, but I do know that like inherently they weren't like cool. I didn't think I was cool for like, I think that's the thing is like, I don't know if I always knew that I was embarrassed by it, but I always knew that it wasn't like necessarily like a cool or mainstream thing.
Yeah.
And like, no matter what, like that's the same thing. I don't necessarily want to go to like Paris or stuff like that, but I do like Thailand seems cool, but I just don't know if that's a thing that, like I want to go like there and kickbox. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to do like you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's not. That's what I'm saying. Is like
I want
it's
to
not
eat
a,
exotic fruit.
Yeah, she wants to go on like a boat tour, like go through the markets.
I don't
want to
do like touristy stuff, but I want to I want to learn new cultures, you know, that involves food and seeing, like, I want to go to the cutty parts of
a
cool
I have a
spot,
desire
you know?
to go to those areas, but I don't have the balls.
It's also like a risk when you invest money in something that's supposed to be a vacation. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what's a safer bet? Florida.
Exactly. Somewhere
like,
you can drive.
You know
right.
how much you're going to probably spend. You know what you're going to get yourself into.
Yeah.
Whereas traveling is like really an unknown unless you have a big amount of money to really just not care about and be like, oh, we're going to have the best of the best for everything.
Yeah.
It is kind of a weird, I think I have a weird fear with traveling too. I've had multiple opportunities where someone's like when my ex went to Asia, he's like, come, I'm going early for a couple weeks, like before tour starts, like come with me. And I was like, I don't know. There's stuff going on here. I don't know if I want to like it. It's like I had like some mental gymnastics with it where I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
It's about like, I think your experience, gauge or like your experience, like level, like I can afford. So like shows.
Which also makes sense why people who travel or study abroad in like college, they're like obsessed with traveling and they make their whole life being like, I love traveling. I love going. It's because they got it out of the way. They broke the seal and they're like, oh, I got this.
They understand it. Yeah.
I've been to Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And you're still like, I don't know if I'm allowed back. I don't know how I got there before. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how. I've done like vacations before.
Don't have a passport. I need one actually.
That was the other thing. Was a lot of times with like it's your like the personal preference of that, like going to a certain place or anything like that. I don't necessarily have that desire, but I do like the experience like aspect of it. So if we're spending money on I don't necessarily want to buy a lot of things, but we like to go on like trips. Yeah. But we also like once we figured out how to like once we took our first vacation by ourselves, like without parents or anything like that, we broke the seal. Yeah. But I don't know what kept us from like continuing to, you know what I mean, like to go like, all right, well now because that like
it's
we
a
also
comfort thing. It's a comfort thing.
But we also like there's like still tons of stuff to do here. It's like how it's the same way I feel about like space travel.
Is there tons of stuff to do here?
Still, yeah.
In shows, Austin, yeah. Texas?
Well, not Austin. Well, Austin, I don't know about specifically, but like the surrounding Texas area. Seems pretty.
I also
pretty
just want to make this clear really quick because I don't know if I've ever told you this. If there is ever a time that there's a band, especially a heavier band that's playing that you want to see in Texas, if there's a San Antonio show, go to that one.
Okay.
Comparatively to Austin, the Austin shows are kind of whack. Like,
really?
San Antonio goes so hard because Mexicans love metal and they fucking go hard and they are fans and they show up to the shows and they go off and they mosh and they have fun and it's like it is way more fun every time. Like if my friends are on tour, I almost always go to the San Antonio show instead of the Austin or both, but San Antonio's always at least 3 times better. Huh. Always.
Very interesting.
Before I forgot to
that's a good.
I'm glad I told you that because I forget to tell people.
It's also funny that you were like Mexicans love metal, and I'm like, there's lots of Mexicans in San Antonio?
San Antonio is actually just Mexico. It's awesome. San Antonio is a very cool place. I thought a very cool place.
I did not. So why not move to San Antonio?
Because
it's not that cool.